Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here again today for our usual media briefing. Have some, as you can see, some very excellent guests this morning, so we'll get to them very, very quickly. But just let me quickly tell you a couple of things, and Masa will give you an update too before we get there. Just to say, President is at surfing today. For those that are interested, I don't know if you've seen the pictures. The waves are pretty good. Do have a few little figures on broadcasting just to whet your appetite, but I think tomorrow we're getting the full briefing. NBC saying that Sunday was the most watched primetime program since the Super Bowl. Australia Channel 7, highest audience of the year so far. 50% of Australians have watched something of the Olympic Games already, so that's pretty damn good. And we actually have some even better digital figures on TikTok, for example. 1.3 billion video views of Olympic Spirit hashtag. So one of the fastest growing hashtags on TikTok, which is, as you know, the kind of, or was until recently, my son told me, the kind of digital place of choice of younger audiences. So without further ado, let me hand over to Masa, who will give you a quick rundown of testing figures and so on, and then we'll come to the main event. I should just say, afterwards, once you've asked your questions, they all will be available if you want to do little individual chats with them, which is probably also much nicer, I think, at the back out here, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, Masa, over to you.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, as always. Just quickly run through what I want to say at this very beginning. First of all, we've observed a fantastic performance from Team Japan. I shouldn't say too much about their performance from the Team Japan, but 13-year-old Momiji Nishiya won the gold in skateboarding. Also, congratulations on the entire Japan's table tennis community to claim their first ever gold medal in the Olympic history. So other than that, seems like their great performance has been fueling excitement among the general audiences. So really great to see their inspirational performances, and of course great performances being observed among all the other athletes. I also wanted to update you on the latest situation on a tropical storm. According to the latest weather information from our team, the tropical storm is now heading down to north and possibly passing by or approaching to Tohoku area. Sometime early in the 28th or early in the morning. As you may be already aware, there has been a certain level of the competition schedule changes, as we have already circulated yesterday. The competition schedule archery has been revamped. Also, for the sports of surfing, the originally scheduled on 28th has been moved to 27th today. And also in terms of the triathlon competition, their schedule has been moving down from 6:30 to 6:45. The competition was already finished, but there was a certain level of the schedule changes due to this weather. Other than that, I believe you have the latest COVID update. Since July 1st till 25th, 2 days ago, we were able to conduct more than 37,000 the tests at the airport, and there was a 30 positive cases. The positivity rates indicate 0.08%. In terms of the number of screening tests across all the stakeholders, the number is now nearly 240,000. And there has been 52 positive cases observed, which indicates the positivity rate is 0.02%. So that's pretty much everything at this very beginning. Passing back the floor to you.
Thank you very much, Masa. So yes, let's get down to our first kind of main event, the Refugee Olympic team. And let me introduce someone who most of you know already, James McLeod, who's the NOC Relations Director, in charge of NOC Relations and also overseeing, obviously, the Refugee Olympic team. And James will be available to discuss afterwards. I think once we've done with the Refugee Olympic team, they can leave to the back, and James will just stick with us for a bit longer if there are any NOC questions particularly. So James, do you want to go ahead?
Thank you very much, Mark, and thank you, Masa. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. I'm joined today with three exceptional individuals. First of all, Aham Mahmoud. Aham is in badminton in the Refugee Olympic team. Rose Nasike as well in the Refugee Olympic team. She was also part of the Rio 2016 Refugee Olympic team. And Pour Biel, who also was in the Rio 2016 team and is here as the athlete representative of the Tokyo team. So it's a pleasure. I'll be passing the floor over to them after I give you a short introduction on what we've been doing here and the impact of the Refugee Olympic team. If we step back to Rio, you will recall that the IOC agreed for a team of 10 athletes to compete as Refugee Olympic athletes. And they were able to compete across a number of sports, not many, 3 sports. And there was 10 athletes at that time. There was a huge spotlight that was put on the team at the time, and really it was designed to put a spotlight on the growing humanitarian crisis that was the refugee crisis. Between then and now, the refugee crisis has increased by over 20 million people. So now it stands at over 80 million forcibly displaced refugees across the world. And the IOC made a very clear decision that for the Tokyo Games that we would like to repeat the exercise of having a Refugee Olympic team that would be able to represent those 80 million athletes across the world. You'll also have noticed in the Olympic Agenda 2020 +5, notably recommendation 11 is specifically focused on this element. It links the Refugee Olympic team with the ongoing support for the IOC and the Olympic movement towards resolving this crisis as well through the Olympic Refuge Foundation, and Pour will be discussing that in a while. So here in Tokyo we have 29 athletes that are competing across a number of sports. They're from 11 different countries and they've been hosted in 13 different countries. There's 12 sports. So you'll see refugee athletes competing more or less every day here in Tokyo. A lot of this is supported by Olympic Solidarity. All of you will know the actions of Olympic Solidarity. For many years, Olympic Solidarity has been working in the field of sport development and working with the 206 national Olympic committees to make sure that they have the tools and the finances available to be able to develop sport, whether it be athlete development, coaching development, capacity building in the NOCs, but also the promotion of Olympic values. I'm pleased to confirm that here in Tokyo, there's 836 athletes from 178 national Olympic committees in 26 sports, all of which are Olympic scholarship holders. And you'll be able to find results from these Olympic scholarship holders on the Info Plus system. And just one comment from yesterday, the weightlifter from the Philippines who won the first ever Olympic gold medal for the Philippines was indeed benefiting from the scholarship program. And there's lots of nice stories there. Just another couple of points before I pass over. After the Rio Games, the IOC took the decision to create the Olympic Refuge Foundation. This is an ongoing commitment that we have in our partnership with the UNHCR that's been going for the last 25 years to really deepen that commitment through the creation of a foundation, which really is the next chapter in how we are going to work on this global humanitarian crisis by using sport as a protection tool for this vulnerable population. At the moment, we have 12 programs being run across 8 countries, and we're really working in partnership with UN agencies, NGOs, the National Olympic Committees, the international federations, to be able to address specific targeted programs across the world. And obviously you can find additional information on the Olympic Refuge Foundation online, and Poor will also be talking to you a bit about that. So without further ado, I'll pass you to the real stars of the show, and I'll start with Aram to give a bit of a background on where he's from, his experience here, and then we'll go to Rose and Poor. Aram, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aram Mahmoud. I am 24 years old, from Syria, living in Netherlands as a refugee. I am a badminton player, badminton was always a way for me to put my energy like that. Every time I play badminton was like a pleasure for me, and because of badminton, and I was be able to have this chance to participate at the Olympic. It was always a dream for me to be at the Olympics, and I'm also very glad to be able to represent millions of refugees around the world, and it's an honor for me. Yesterday, or like this last weekend, I played my matches. It was like pleasure to be there. I gave everything I had. I had to face very good opponents. They are the top players, and they were very good for me for this time. It was a very nice experience for me to be there. I know I have to work now harder and harder to be in the level that I wish I will be. But all of all, it was a very, very nice experience for me. Thankful for all the people that helped me the whole my journey. I also want to thank the Olympic Solidarity, the IOC, and the Federation in Netherlands, who helped me also to be able to participate at the Olympics. I hope in the near future I will be able to train more and playing more higher tournaments that I can increase or improve my level. And I wish to be able to participate in the next Olympics, and also with a much more higher level. So. Thanks for everything, and it was a pleasure for me to play in Tokyo here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aram. And just also, obviously, Aram made reference to the Paris 2024 Games. The IOC has already made a commitment that we will continue this program to Paris, and we will commit as well to continue to support the athletes that have been part of the refugee Olympic team here in Tokyo, but also those that receive scholarships that didn't make the journey here to Tokyo. So Aram, you'll be with us for a while if you continue training for Paris. Rose, can I pass the floor to you now? Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rose Nadike from South Sudan. I live in Kenya as a refugee. I came in Kenya in 2002, and then I started my life from there. So I was the first ever Refugees Olympian from 2016, and also a flag bearer, and also competed in 3 times World Championship. I competed here in Japan 2019 World Relays, in Doha and then London, then also here in the Olympic 2020 Tokyo for the 2nd time. So I'm so glad to be here. this is my third time in Japan, and then also I would like to thank the government of Japan for hosting the refugees, and also the IOC Solidarity for supporting all the refugees around the world, and also the UNHCR at large. So in 2016, we are only 10 refugee Olympic who competed in Rio, but at least now we had 29 refugees Olympians who are going to compete, and also the Paralympic Games. In number, we are 35. So we are so happy to be here and also to compete. And also, as per me, I'm also a UNHCR high-profile supporter as well. And then also, sport has changed life for so many refugees around the world. And yes, we are not coming here to represent ourselves, but to represent the entire refugee community around the world, and also to give the message of hope, because sport has brought people together. It has, at least it helps us to interact with so many nationalities, and also to find so many people and to know how life is, because we are all human beings, and we can do what others are doing also as well, because no one chooses to be a refugee. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose. And Rose was the flag bearer for the Refugee Olympic team in Rio 2016. Paul, can I pass to you now? Thank you.
Thank you so much, James, for the welcoming of the team. My name is Yajpur Biel, board members of the Olympic Refugee Foundation, UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, and part of the first Refugee Olympic team in 2016. And now I'm here in Tokyo representing the 29 athletes as the athlete representative. I'm living in the United States and study over there since 2019. I left South Sudan, it was 2005, and I have been living in Kenya for almost the entire of my life. But I got opportunity through education and moved to United States to further my study. It is an honor to be part of this amazing team, which was created in 2016 by the IOC President, Dr. Thomas Bach, with the support of the UNHCR, headed by the High Commissioner. I will not go back to talk on behalf of the athlete, because every athlete have different history in life. We have been forced to flee from different reasons in our life. As you heard from the athlete themselves, you know, no one wants to be a refugee. Any situation can force anyone to become a refugee. And you never know, tomorrow it can be me, but tomorrow you never know, it can be somebody else. I will be talking briefly about the Olympic Refugee Foundation, which was created in 2017. And the main goal was to create access to a sport facility to young people who are living in the refugee camps. This foundation is combined of 10 members, which is headed by the president himself and the High Commissioner and the other board members. The main goal was to chair a movement to ensure that young people who have been forced to flee from their country can have the access to a sport facility, have access to an environment whereby they can feel safe. You know, many people, they don't have that access. I remember when I was young, I started sport when I was 21 years old. And I wish if I could have that opportunity to have that access to a sports facility, I think I could do more. So the foundation is giving access to young people who cannot have that opportunity to compete in Olympics, and so that they can build their talent and work on whatever they can do so that they can realize while they're still young on their sport. You know that there's 80 million refugees around the world who have been forced to flee from their home. And 60% of these young people are under the age of 25, which is a big number, whereby we need to go back to say that sport can create a safe environment for these people. Sport can bring us athletic ability. When one has that ability to have that sport, can bring a lot of talent to young people whereby they can do whatever they can. Apart from that, it helps in social, physical, and mentally, and well-being of different young people when they are involved in sport. The organization is working with different partners, including the United Nations for the refugees. We are currently working with 200,000 young people in different countries, 8 countries, whereby we have different programs supported by the Olympic Refuge Foundation. This program they include in Colombia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Jordan, Kenya, Mexico, Rwanda, Turkey, and Uganda. So there is some projects that are on, and some of them that are on pilot project whereby they are continuing. My message is, as an athlete who passed through the sport, it has changed my life. Especially, I have a lot of opportunity through the sport. I encourage different people to support the Olympic Refuge Foundation, the work that they are doing, so that we can partner, join them to create a world greatest team. Sport can play a key role in my life, and it can play a different role in different people's lives, which I believe it is the only way it can change the life of young people who are living in different camps. You can follow the Olympic Refuge Foundation through their website and give the support whatever you can. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Paul, and thank you to all three of our special guests today. Really appreciate you coming along here. Let's just quickly have one question from the web as well, but let's just quickly questions about this to either the three guests or to James, and then we'll move to other stuff afterwards. So yes, lady in the middle there, if you want to go to the microphone, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hi, this is Nozomi Kunitake from NHK Japan. My question is to these three athletes. So now, through the Tokyo Olympic Games, the billions people in the world are watching you guys. So from here, what would you like to tell them? Anything to the world, to the Japanese people, to your family, anything. What would you like to tell them most now? Thank you.
Yeah, Aram, do you want to start at the end, and then if anyone wants to add on, yeah, please.
Yeah, to all the people around the world, I want to say thanks for all the support. I receive a lot of very kind messages after I played here, and I would like to say I appreciate all the support, and especially for the Japanese people, I would like to say thank you for having us here in this difficult situation. But thanks a lot, and to my people, like my family in Syria, I also would say much love and thanks for all the support, and I hope they are proud of me now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Aram. Rose or Paul, do you want to add anything?
Thank you once again. Maybe to add on what Aram said, we like to say thank you to the people of Japan for welcoming us, and also thanks to all people who are supporting the refugee team, because this is the second time, and also give thanks to President Thomas Bach for allowing the refugee to participate for the second time. And also, we are so happy, and let's continue to support the refugee team, at least so that we can encourage so many displaced people around the world to at least engage in sports so that they can change life, because sport now has the power to change the life of other refugees as well. Thank you.
Well, what I can add on what Rose and Ram is about, this is your team. The president always say, the Refugee Olympics team, when it was created in 2016, 2020, is to welcome the society of the refugee to feel at home and to feel a warm welcome, which a lot of people have been doing to welcome and open door for young people to be welcome in sport. The only thing that can make them to feel at home, to welcome them, because this is the beginning. We have a lot of way, a lot of doors whereby they can be welcome in different way, through education, through the talent that they are doing. And there is a different way whereby they can achieve whatever they fulfill in their life to be better people, because this is our brother, this is our sister, and this is our family. And to promote the humanity is to work together so that to welcome this refugee to feel at home and be part of the humanity that we are talking about in this world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Graham Dunbar, I think I saw there, yeah, from AP.
Okay, thank you. A question for James about some of the issues raised in the Time magazine article this month about athletes who have left the training camp in Kenya, felt like it was too controlling and not giving them opportunities to earn money and be competitive. Maybe that's just the natural next phase as because of the success of the project and as it matures. Do you feel any of that, any of the comments by those runners who've left, was that fair? Was it accurate? And has it caused you to reassess what the program's goals are and how you can take things on to the next stage to give some of the athletes an opportunity to race competitively and earn money?
Thank you, Graham. No, it's a very good question, and I must say we are learning through this process. As I said earlier, we agreed on the Refugee Olympic team for Rio 2016 3 months out from that. And since then, we've had 4 or 5 years to work on this. And what we have seen is that life has evolved, the athletes have evolved, their needs have evolved. So yes, we understand that now that the athletes go into this elite athlete pathway, coming to compete at the Olympic Games, their expectations obviously are heightened. So we're responding to that as much as we can. We have increased our support within Olympic Solidarity to continue supporting them through our programs. And as you know, in the current quadrennial plan, we've got quite a sizable budget for that. And the other thing that we're trying to do is increase opportunities for them to be able to access sport. So a lot of the work that the Olympic Refuge Foundation will be doing going forward is to be discussing with international federations access to sport. And you can maybe reference as a sport coalition for refugees that's been put in place with that aim in place, which is really to work with the IFs to allow refugee athletes of all levels to access sport on a national basis, regional and international, and obviously the pinnacle here at the Olympic Games. So we think that increasing those opportunities will increase opportunities for each athlete, but for the whole refugee community at large.
Thank you, James. Any more questions in the room? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Jenna Fryer, Associated Press. I think this is for James. An Algerian judoka withdrew for refusing to...
Actually, you can come straight to that, but let's just get one more question that I have from online to the refugees, and then we can let them go and do other things. Actually, I think there's another question. Is it on the refugees? Sorry, I will come to you. But yeah, lady there. Whilst we're at it, online I have from Sakamoto Kazu from Sankei newspaper, says to James, what do you think about the team's performance and achievements? If you just want to...
Well, I think it's amazing. I think it's exceptional. The fact that they are here in itself is an amazing achievement on all fronts. There's stories of resilience, there's stories of hope. The fact that they have got here and have been able to compete on the biggest stage and be able to perform well. We need, obviously, to help them in their athlete careers through scholarships, through coaching, etc. So, from our point of view, every day is a success. We were hoping for medals, like every team would be, but participation is very important to us, and we're very proud of what they've done.
Thank you very much. I think there's one more question, then we'll move on to other issues, if I may. So, yeah. Please.
Thank you. Question from CCTV Yolu. So my question for athletes, because I was hit by one line when the refugee team for Tokyo 2020 launched in the trailer. There was one line said, you have seen the worst. Now you are here, be the best. So may I have the story? What's the worst thing you have experienced? What does it mean, the best for you to compete here? Because sometimes champions, Olympics is not only about champions. I think Olympics is about understanding towards the world, towards the life. Thank you.
Graham, do you want to start, and then we can maybe tell us a little bit about your feelings here, and maybe if you want to, kind of the circumstances that led you to joining the Refugee Olympic team.
Yes, thanks for the questions. Of course, all the difficulties that we have been through give us the power and the will to move on and to work harder and harder to show the people that who we are, and that we are also able to reach our goals, even though we had this kind of situations. And to be here, it's a very huge goal for me, and it was also a very pleasure. So I used all the difficulties from the past to make it the power and will for me to continue, and I'm happy. I'm very happy that I am here now and to be able to participate at the Olympics. Thank you.
Thank you. Rose, you want to add something?
Okay, for us, we are so excited to be here. And due to pandemic, last year the Olympic was supposed to be hosted, but due to pandemic, it has been cancelled. It was not that easy, but at least we managed to make to the team. And for me, this is a great achievement to be the second Olympians, and also to the whole team. We are so happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally to Paul.
I believe, it is an honor to be here as a team. First of all, we thank the IOC, the support that they give us from the solidarity, because, it was not an easy journey. Since 2020, when the game was postponed, we're still training, and we always get the support from all the organizations that create the Olympic Refugee Olympics team. So to be here today and participate in this game, it gave us a lot of motivation, because, as I say earlier, this is another step. 2016 was the beginning, 2020 is another step, and now we are looking forward Paris 2024. So it's just to give thanks to all people who have been supporting us in this critical time, especially during the COVID, and now we are here participating. So thank you so much for supporting us, and we enjoy our stay and everything that we see in Japan. We really appreciate the support. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed to our three guests, and I will now relieve you of your duties. As we said, there is an opportunity to speak to them directly after this or during this press conference in the back, or probably afterwards is better. James will stay with me and Massa, and we'll take other questions. But gentlemen, lady, thank you very much indeed for coming and sharing your stories. We really appreciate it, and it's a great signal for everyone. So thank you very much. We'll have a two-minute reorganisation here, and then we'll be with you shortly. Great, thank you very much for that. And as I said before, we are going to now obviously take all questions, and I have James with me, who Olympic Solidarity and NOC Relations Director, so other questions on that as well. And yeah, let's get going on that. Thank you.
My apologies for jumping the gun. Actually, I'm going to start with something a little more lighthearted. Mark, at the start, you talked about the TikTok numbers being up. A lot of sports have been added this year to attract a younger audience. Do you think the TikTok numbers support that it's working and that the Olympics are attractive to teens?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, the TikTok numbers are actually, I mean, 1.3 billion is not a bad number, and one of the fastest to get to 1 billion views on TikTok, which is, as you know, still an exploding platform. So that's very good. And I can also tell you that our own digital figures. So we broke all of our records by a mile 3 days ago, and we did it 2 days ago. We broke that record, and then yesterday we broke even that record. So our digital figures. And you know, that's the games has to go where the people are, young people. That's why we're having a lot of these sports, and why we're changing the formats and so on. Why we continue to try to make the games relevant to all audiences without losing the older audiences. But I think the digital figures are showing that, and my understanding is the NBC digital figures are also very, very good. And we'll have a proper presentation tomorrow. We'll have actually Yanis and Chris Carroll, who's our digital director, will be here to talk about fan engagement. So we can talk about that. But I think the figures very clearly show that we are on course to kind of have that conversation, deal with those younger audiences where they are, not expecting any more of them to come to us, because that just doesn't happen, as you know.
Are you making any TikToks yourself?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I love it. It's one of my favorite platforms. I've got my fingers crossed underneath.
You got all the dance moves?
I have to say, I am actually on TikTok. I guess a lot of people are, but the one thing I can tell you is it's probably not for me.
Sorry,
you have another question? Yeah.
So, James, an Algerian judoka withdrew rather than compete against an Israeli. He was sent home with his coach. Iran, Algeria, Egypt, they sort of have a pattern of doing this. Is there a stiffer punishment that can be doled out, and should the NOCs be maybe dealt with?
Dealt with, and
well,
yeah, no, I know where you're getting to. Yes, I mean, as you'll have seen in the case of the Algerian athlete and coach, the National Olympic Committee took immediate action, very prompt action, to remove the athlete and the coach from the team and send them home. Obviously, the IOC is always concerned in these cases and is monitoring it very closely. Now, clearly, if there are flagrant abuses of the Olympic Charter, the IOC will take all necessary measures in that respect.
Yeah, okay, let's go 2 people in the middle. If you could go to different microphones, that would be great. And then, oh, yeah, and yeah, person there. Yeah, no, you as well. Yes, please, yeah.
Karine Nishimura, Libération newspaper and Radio France. I have two short questions, and one for Mark and one for Masa. The first one is Tokyo and other prefectures around will probably reach a record number of positive cases during these games. It could be today even. With a number of tests which is about 3 times lower than the Olympic people number of tests. Do you have any comment? Do you think that it's a good timing for the games? And the second question is for Masa. It's about in Japanese you said kodo kanri, the gestion of the movement of people. You said before the games that you will check if there is any problem where people went, and how many records did you check until now? コード管理の件ですけど、何人の GPS データは確認されたのでしょうか?
Yeah, so it won't surprise you to know that it's not my job to comment on domestic cases, and that would be something for the health authorities. What I can tell you again, just to re-emphasize is, and I think we gave the figures, we are approaching probably 250,000 tests now. Everyone is tested before they leave their country, 2 tests when they arrive. The rate of infection is, I think, 0.0 something percent. So the main thing we can do is to continue to give comfort to everyone that this is being kept with us, that we are doing everything we need to do, and we are keeping testing rates very, very high, and the infection rate is very, very low. And by the way, it's not just testing and vaccination. You already know about the vaccination figures. I think the media figures are something like 70, 80%. In the village, it's 85%. The IOC, it's 100%. Double vaccinated. It's not just that, there are all sorts of other measures in terms of distancing or distanciation, I think I heard the other day, but distancing and other measures we're taking, which I think can give the local population and, of course, all of our stakeholders a great deal of confidence.
行動管理の件につきましては、何人の方がGPS の対象になったかということは、すみません、私は今把握していないのもありますけれども、公表の対象にはならないものというふうに考えています。ただ今一つしっかりお伝えできることは、少しそのプレイブックのルールが緩和されたのではないかという、いわば誤った印象を先週ぐらいですかね、多くの方に与えていたような状況があったと思います。で、それでここに私たちセキュリティの責任者と一緒に参りまして、一度記者会見をさせていただきました。今の運用に関しては例えばそのホテルでどうしてもその食料がホテル内でその調達できない場合にですね、一瞬その外出いただくようなこともあるわけですけども、少なからずそのホテルにいらっしゃる担当者がですね、目の届く範囲の中で行動いただく。ほとんどの場合ホテルの、道の向かいにそういったコンビニがあったりするケースが多いので、ほとんどの場合にはその警備担当がしっかりその目の行く届く範囲の中で外出いただいてすぐに戻っていただくという運用をしています。で、加えてもしその近くにどうしてもコンビニがない場合などに一旦外出いただく場合には、速やかにお戻りいただいたときに GPS を確認させていただくという運用が今始まっていますので、行動管理に関しては厳格な運用ができていると、そのように報告を受けています。
Thank you very much. Yeah, there were two people that I was indicating earlier on. Yes, so please go ahead. Yeah, that's great.
NHK の今井と申します。日本語で失礼します。高谷さんに質問いたします。2点ございます。台風の影響についてなんですが、
Tropical storm 宮城
方で今夜都市ボランティアを安全のために中止するという発表がありました。一方で観客については今どういう方針なのか、また茨城県の学校連携の子どもたちの観客もどういう方針なのか合わせて教えてください。それからもう一点、検査に関して、PCR 検査に関しての質問です。組織委員会と IOC とで本当にたくさんの検査数をやっていることには心から敬意を表します。一方でたくさんやっているからこそ、それがどれぐらい提出されているかという、以前も質問ありましたが、提出率というところ、きっと 100% に近いと思いたいんですが、安全ということをしっかりとアピールするためにも、その提出率というのをどこかの段階でお示しいただくことはできないでしょうか。よろしくお願いします。
はい、ありがとうございます。台風に関しては、宮城、茨城ともに、今の現時点では予定通りの開催で、お客さんについてもそのまま予定されている方にはお越しいただいて、ご観覧いただく予定にしています。もしその大きな変更があれば、もちろん速やかにお伝えしていくスタンスであります。茨城の今ちょっと観客という言い方をしましたが、学校連携に関しても、同様の対応をしてまして、例えば雨がっぱを持ってきてくださいとか、そういったことも含めてお伝えして、運営をしている状況です。それからPCR 検査のその率の話に関しては、これは、すみません、これまでお伝えしていることを繰り返させていただくことになります。重ね重ね、そういう意味でいくと NHK さんが最初に報じられたことですけれども、ちょっと序盤に検査キットが足りないんじゃないかということで、場合によってはしっかり検査をしてないんではないかという印象を与えてしまったかもしれませんが、実際にはその際にもですね、NOC の方の協力でプレイブックに記載の検査数に関してはしっかり担保して、NOC 間の公平性はしっかり守られた形で検査が実施されています。昨日少し解説的にお伝えしましたけれども、アスリートに渡す検査キットにはですね、もう個人のアイデンティフィケーションが紐付けられているものが印字されている状態で配布されているので、選手の方も唾液をもうすぐにそこに入れて出すだけという非常に簡便な形での運用を行ってまして、選手村内に関しては、しっかりと予定されていたプレイブックに記載の検査ができているものというふうにお考えいただきたいと思います。重ね重ねそれ以外のステークホルダーの方におきましては、これも本当に皆様の本当にご協力が不可欠で、4日以上、つまり5日以上検査が提出されてないと CLO の方にご連絡がいくシステムに今なってますので、直ちに CLO の方はそれを所属の方にですね、通知いただいて、速やかに検査をしていただくと、それによって大会をとにかく成功に導きたいというふうに思っています。検査率に関してはこれもご説明申し上げたつもりなんですが、その率自体を出すことがこのシステムのネイチャーで困難だというふうに考えます。その4日目に相当する人がですね、例えばその日勤務がオフであれば、シフトの都合オフであれば翌日にその検査を受けることになりますし、つまるところその分母を導くことが難しいことになりますので、率自体はお示しできませんが、重ね重ね皆様のご協力をもって、しっかりと皆様にも検査を受けていただきながら安全を確保していきたいというふうに考えております。
Yeah. Please go ahead.
TBS テレビです。高谷さんにお願いいたします。一部の競技場などでフードロスの問題が出てきておりまして、一部の競技場などで賞味期限が切れる前の食料が廃棄されているというような証言がございました。もしこれを事実確認されているとすれば、大体どれぐらいの食料が廃棄されていたのか。そしてもし廃棄されていたならば、どういった理由で、例えばボランティアさんが急遽減ったからだとか、どういった理由でこの廃棄が行われたのか教えてください。
はい、私も報道は拝見しているところです。今お伝えできることは、フードロスの問題については、当然、適切な数量がですね、発注されて、納品されてしかるべきものというふうに考えています。実際にそういった報道があったことは私も拝見していますし、フードロスがないように事態の改善に努めていくということが今お伝えできることかなというふうに考えています。
Okay, let's go. Gentleman there. Yeah. No, yeah. Looking round. Yes. And then we'll have Liam as well after that, please, from inside the games. Okay.
Thank you, Mark. Hiroki Tora from Asahi Shimbun. I have a question to James about Guinea. Could you tell us the situation of Guinea NLC right now and what happened and why are they delayed and are the athletes fit to perform at their competitions? Thank you.
I'm not aware of any issue with the Kenya National Olympic Committee at the moment. Kenya?
Not Kenya. Guinea.
Oh, Guinea.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry. Guinea Conakry. Yes. The athletes should have arrived yesterday, so there's no issue there. We had discussions with them, and they are sending their athletes.
Yeah.
Do you know why they're delayed here? The reason?
No, I mean there's a number of athletes, media, all stakeholders that are delayed for different reasons. I mean it's pure logistics. No issue on that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, gentleman there. Yeah, please, and then we'll go to Liam Morgan, and then gentleman behind. Yeah.
日本語で失礼します。共同通信の長谷川です。毎日 IOC と組織委員会で検査の数と陽性者の数を発表いただいていると思うんですが、ちょっと現段階で改めてご認識をお伺いしたいんですけれども、この大会の中でのその陽性者の発生については、IOC と組織委員会としてはかなり抑え込んでいるという、ご認識なんでしょうか。でまたちょっと陽性になった人の傾向を見るとですね、特定の国でかなり陽性になっているケースが多いと思います。ちょっと具体的な名前を出すと、リストにも名前がありますが、例えばチェコだったりオランダの方で陽性になっているケースが多いと思うんですが、この原因というか要因については何か分析をなさったりされているんでしょうか。以上2点です。
Let me just start with that. So I think I'm right in saying the infection rate is 0.02%. Just simply, and I'll pass over to Masa, I would just simply repeat that this is the most tested and possibly even the most vaccinated, but the most tested community almost.
した通りだと思いますが、国外から来日いただいている大会関係者が、昨日時点で約379例ですので、大体 0.2% ぐらいの陽性率だと思います。非常にその他のコミュニティと比べて、何かその重大な違いがもたらされているものではないという認識ではおります。でその陽性事例に関しては、当然組織委員会の中では詳細な分析は当然のことながらしておりますし、ご承知の通り同じグループの中から陽性事例が出ているというのもまた事実ですけれども、その分析の結果に関して、対外的に明示的にお示しすることはなかなか困難ですので差し控えたいと思いますが、やはりその一つお伝えできることがあればすれば、やはりその参加いただく方がその大会の成功に対して非常に熱心でいただいているおかげで、今の状況がしっかりと保たれているというふうに言えると思うんですね。あるグループで陽性事例があった場合にでも濃厚接触とコンファームされる前の段階で疑いがある段階でも個室の待機、食事も部屋でとる、といったことに速やかに対応いただいたチームもございました。やはりそういうスピリットのおかげで今の状況ということを保ってきていると思いますので、引き続き皆様にしっかりと
But I would just figure and compare that with probably anywhere else. I think it's really worth looking not just at the measures, the vaccination measures and the distancing measures, 0.02%. I know from my experience, not here, but I know from my experience, I think a lot of countries would be incredibly happy with that figure. And obviously, as I said yesterday, don't take my word for what we're doing. The World Health Organization Director General has made it clear that they've advised us every step of the way, but they've also said at our session that we are doing
surely stricter measures are needed if you're going to stop this worrying trend of athletes refusing to face athletes from other countries, etc. And secondly, is there any update on the chef de mission of the refugee Olympic team? Is she here yet, and will she be able to lead the team?
99.6 or something, but I've been assured by someone from the medical team that it's all of them. So I think we can lay that one to rest.
Those are all the tests at the airport and here?
Yeah.
And in particular, this may affect Fukushima as well, where softball and football games are held. In this regard, is it possible that the schedule will be changed?
Можно ли более подробно узнать об этом, пожалуйста?
Yeah, the latest weather forecast says the tropical storm, in our words typhoon, but it is a tropical storm, is now heading down to north upwards and possibly approaching the Tohoku region tomorrow early in the morning. And then, as I mentioned, there has been a certain level of the competition schedule changes already observed in just a handful of sports, but other than that, the rest of the competition schedule remains as planned. And if there is any further development, obviously we will let you know.
I would just add, as Kit said yesterday, that there is a scheduling committee. It's part of every games. If there's an issue, it happens at every single games that things are rescheduled. There's a process to be gone through. And I would also remind you that my understanding is the English translation of the Japanese typhoon, that this one is a tropical storm, less than level 3. But if it provides a story, then go ahead. Yes.
Hi there. Will Leonardo from BBC News. Just another question about the weather conditions, if I may. It's been reported that the original Tokyo bid for these Olympics described the weather this summer as being mild and best for the athletes' performance, and it seems to have been anything but. I was just wondering if you have an answer about whether there's been any regrets over the scheduling of these Olympics not being later in the year, like the last Olympics here, and also what you'd say to people who might say that the IOC has put broadcast ratings above athletes' performances. Thank you.
I think two things. Firstly, it's the federations who decide on the scheduling of their events. As far as I know, the schedule has more or less so far. I think there was some slight changes with tennis, has more or less gone ahead. We were aware of as we discussed, as we've said before, some of the temperature issues, and that's why there are all sorts of heat measures that are being taken place. And as you know, we moved the race walk and the marathon to Sapporo. So we're aware of that. The athletes' well-being is obviously first and foremost the most important thing. But I'm not sure, is it the heat or the cold rain that is the problem here? That because obviously there are typhoons and that does happen. I think we have to consider that sport in Japan can go ahead, does go ahead. We had athletics here in Osaka a few years ago. It's very successful. And so far, as I can see, these games have continued to run normally. And yes, athletes will always have various different views, but they seem to be, from what I can tell, in a very large measure content. Those that have taken part in competition that I've seen seem to be very happy with the conditions that we have. So thank you. Yeah, let's take one last question at the back there, and then we'll.
すみません、日本語でお願いします。朝日新聞の塩谷と申します。ちょっとまたマスクの話で恐縮なんですけれども、選手が喜びのあまりルールに違反してしまうのはある程度理解できるのですけれども、24日の柔道会場でですね、ルール作る側の組織委員会の副会長の山下康弘氏がマスクを外して関係者と話したり、関係者と抱擁したりと、そういう場面が、目撃されて報道されております。 ルールを作る側のですね、幹部、彼は JOC の会長でもあり、全日本柔道連盟の会長でもありますけれども、彼らがこういう形でルールを破っていることについて、IOC の受け止めと、あと組織委員会の高谷さんにはですね、山下さんにこうしたことの事実確認、あるいは注意、あるいは処分などを検討する、ことはしていらっしゃるのでしょうか。
Yeah, thanks for that. And it's very important, as we've said yesterday and the day before, that we do get everyone to abide by the rules. And as you will have noted here and there in the media too, unfortunately, we do have some infringements, and people are reminded and continue to be reminded. We've taken slightly a dimmer view of this. We are communicating. We have communicated with all the federations yesterday and the NOCs. We're reminding people of their responsibilities on this. I was actually at judo yesterday, and I have to say, I didn't see that one, but I have to say at judo, it was very, very well run, and even the medal ceremony was the 30 seconds was allowed for the photo, masks back on. Okay, it's anecdotal. I didn't see any infringement likewise at canoe yesterday. I'm not saying there aren't, there clearly are, and we encourage people, more than encourage people, we're telling people you must do so. And like me, probably yesterday, I would also ask you, if you see someone not wearing a mask, to ask them to put the mask on. And I did that yesterday, and I would ask everyone else to do the same. It's in all of our interests to do so. I think very, very largely the advice is being followed. As the New York Times correspondent said yesterday, you can see where there's the excitement of a sporting event, things can people forget themselves, but we have to provide the confidence for people at the games and for our Japanese partners and friends that we're following every single rule that we can. So yes, it's important. Yes, we've reminded everyone of their rules, and it was raised again at the coordination meeting this morning. So we continue to push on this one and make sure it is. As I say, everyone can play their part. Masa, you have anything to add?
はい、ありがとうございます。JOC の個別のケースに関して、どう対処したかっていうのは、すみません、私が今、掌握しきれないのもあるんですが、一つ今までお伝えしていたことから、少し一歩進んだ対応をしていることをお伝えできるとすれば、そういったマスク着用非着用を含む、プレイブックの違反事例と思われるものを確認したときに、組織委員会からですね、個別に、ストリクトリマインダーというふうに英語では先ほど言っていたんですけれども、いわば厳しい注意喚起というものを個別に対応し始めています。すでに複数のNOC に対してそういった厳しい注意喚起というものを個別にさせていただいています。そういった厳しい注意喚起がなされたNOC において。
Very much with that. We have run 10 minutes over, so obviously be in touch with the scheduling committee for tomorrow, but we should be back here at 11 o'clock tomorrow. And as I say, I will be with Yanis Xarkos, who is the OBS, in charge of OBS and all the broadcasting services, and Chris Carroll, who's our Director of Digital. So you can have all of those questions to them about digital stuff. And then later in the week, when we've got a much clearer picture, we will also do a TV and digital roundup in terms of viewing figures around the world with Tume Lume. So thank you very much, and we will see you all same time, same place tomorrow. Thank you.